Alrighty, what is going on, guys? Today we're going to be doing a VOD review for my girlfriend on Cypher on Icebox. So, her goal as a player is to just get better, rank up. I think she's currently Silver 1, and she's trying to get to Gold. So, today we're going to be focusing on a few things, nothing too crazy. I'm not like a really big Cypher player myself. I do understand how he works, but I won't know like the ins and outs. So, we're not going to focus too much on that. We'll definitely pay more attention to just like fundamental stuff, more mechanical stuff, because I feel like that will help her no matter what character she's on, and that's probably what she needs the most, right? So my number one thing, especially for Sentinels, is speed out of spawn, right? A lot of times I'll see people sitting in spawn with their buy menu open. Not only do they not know what they want to buy, but they're just taking so long and they're not moving, right? You can have your buy menu out, right? You can be moving at the same time. So if you need time to think, at least you're thinking while you're making your way to the site that you're gonna defend, right? So, I'm pretty sure that she knows that she wants to defend B, so she should have her buy menu out while she's walking that way, so that she can purchase things on her way. She does have her stuff ready, but I'm pretty sure she sat in spawn for a little bit to do that. As well as this helps, especially if you don't know what kind of setup you want to go for, because it gives you that extra time while you're here to throw it down. But having an idea of what you're going to play will speed you up as well. So by the time she gets to site, she has 25 seconds left. So now she has 25 seconds to set up. Right, and it's taking her a good bit of time to get that things down, right? So we got definitely got to work on that speed, right? And then when we're making a cipher setup, and obviously, like I said, I'm not a big cipher player, but in my opinion, I want to set up trips that I can take advantage of, right? Either so there's, I guess we'll just go off of two, right? So, what is this trip doing? Is this trip giving you info or is it getting a pick, right? So with that knowledge, okay, the way that you should be playing, you probably won't be able to get a kill off of this. So this is an info trip, right? So you need to not necessarily swing off of this. If you did want it to get a pick, I'd probably put it a little farther out, and I'd honestly probably put it in here because if we think about how people are going to scale when it comes to this map, and I can actually pull it up on this map, they're not really gonna push out through here. They're gonna push here, get the bomb down, and back up, right? So if I'm defending this site and I know that if I want to play like back site somewhere safe, right? My trip is going to be probably around here so that I could probably set up a one way or something, or just a smoke so that I can punish this plant or some people that are going to walk through. Because people will play here and will hold it, but they won't really scale for the most part, in my opinion. So when it comes to trips, if I'm you, I might like throw a trip down somewhere like here in this area, so like I can have info if anybody's pinching this way. If I'm not gonna hold it directly, maybe one here. For my first camera, I could throw it here for information, and I just pop my camera, right? No info. It's pistol round. I'm rotating, right? And you can keep checking it on your rotation, right? So that should be your thing. That camera's going to be able to give you that vision that you would normally get with your face or with like a KJ turret, and then you just rotate based off the information you get from that. The round has already started. Wasn't able to get the camera down, but you can see that your Reyna and so your Omen has visual mid, your Reyna has visual here. So if I'm you, I'm just sprinting this way. I know they're not coming B, so I'm just gonna head over to A. Knife out. You're slow peeking this when your Omen has mid. So the unfortunate thing is you're getting to the fight really late, right? By the time you get here, you've already lost two teammates. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to be faster on your rotations.
Drop.
So I wouldn't really blame that on you because your teammate, instead of continuing to fight with you, kind of like just went around. But also be aware that not every fight you have to take should you have to commit to. If you're on that corner and you're shooting, you could shoot while heading back into cover, and now you should know the proper elevation for a headshot, so you can correct your aim placement and you can reswing. So we are buying half armor. That's no good. Buy full armor. Why? Because they're gonna be on bad buys. So you want to have as much health as possible, right? Why have 125 when you can have 150, right? The goal you won this round, right? Which typically means you're gonna win the second round if you force up. So guarantee that win. Go up 2-0, right? Why are we not guaranteeing that win, right? Go up 2-0. So here we are. Reyna gets a pick, right? We have an idea that people might be there. Then again, it is low elo, so that could be a lurking Reyna, right? But for the most part, if you see a Reyna, you can expect that the push is either B or mid to B, right? So I would be very cautious about this angle here and kitchen. So right now you're just watching your cam. This doesn't really do anything. Since Reyna's already holding the angle, I'd probably either hold it with her or I'd do something else. I'm gonna pick A. Rotating. Kitchen's not clear, so you got to be careful in here. You have your gun out, but I wouldn't say walk, right? And then you can what you just did right now. You could have did it with your eyeballs, right? Oh, Silva's here. That means this is clear, or he's watching that, so you can just go. Minimap's gonna give you a lot of information. Gotta make sure we're using the minimap. So you know your Reyna's mid. The likeliness of somebody being tube when there's a big fight going on is not not really a thing. So I just sprint over. I like to smoke. Good. That was a good smoke. I like that you smoked up the bomb to defuse it. So now that it is round 3, if they didn't force up, they're gonna have rifles, right? Should you take this fight into rifles with an SMG? No. This is a very bad fight because even if you headshot them, if they headshot you back, you lose, right? Let's say y'all both had perfect aim, you lose. So why are we? And I know in every scenario that's a thing, right? But even if you hit a headshot and they miss their first shot, but then but then they hit a headshot, right? They win, right? So it's like you want to take gunfights that are at your advantage, and you're having SMG. This is not a good gunfight for you, not at all. Using minimap, you know somebody's mid. So by you being slow here, you've allowed that Sage to get her heal off and to gain health back. I would have pushed a lot faster, but since we don't have any info mid, I'm not mad at you for not walking out here, right? Because we don't know where everybody else is. She could have a teammate, right? You should always, as another wise coach has said, you should always assume there's two. So if there was somebody here, there should be somebody that's either there already or coming to them. So we know that they got to pick mid. So Sky's here, so they're probably not tubes, so they're probably walking up mid or they're rotating toward their team. So right now we have numbers, so my priority would be getting with a teammate, playing with a teammate here. Don't fight that. You have an SMG. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and talk about how that was a bad play. I'm pretty sure you're smart enough to understand after it happened that it was bad. But just understand, like sometimes when you see people, like you don't have to fight them, right? By you doing what you did, by seeing her legs, that's information, right? Remember, we said that they probably have rifles. They 90%, 99%, 99%, 909, have rifles or some long range gun, right? So we don't want to fight that with SMG. So by you getting that information, okay, Reyna's mid, right? That's information for your team. That's huge. But just get with your team. As you've seen, we've gotten a pick mid, and that was on their Sage, right? So if we think about characters, their utility, their roles, right? Sage is their sentinel, therefore she is like their lurker, either that or the smoke. So if we get a pick on a Sage here, and we get a dart that shows two, we can confidently say no one's going B for the most part. I mean, somebody could be lurking, but I don't think so, right? So, um, I could say maybe there's one more mid. We know there's two there. That's three. So there's one more. So there it could be like a 2-2 split, one split, right? But there shouldn't be anybody here. I don't think. I think it's either 2-2 or 3-1, right? Like I said, there was one more person mid. You know that now. So if I'm you, there's two options. I need to get to my team. Either I'm taking the long route, I'm smoking this off, and I'm going through this, or I'm smoking mid and I'm crossing. But you need to let your team know what you saw because he can lurk up mid. Yeah, but you have smokes, right? Like, so why make this your rotation longer when you can just smoke off that angle and in rotate, you know? You could have made this faster by like 3 seconds, 4 seconds, which in hindsight is a lot of time, right? So now you know he was mid. He could still be there because Reyna hasn't moved. You know he's not mid anymore. You saw all three, and in the moment you probably didn't, because I know sometimes I miss stuff like that. So right there, you saw him throw Wingman. You had a smoke. Wingman needs LOS to see you. So I would have used that smoke to cut this angle here to avoid the stun and to look for a fight. Right. When you're down, and which it seems like you are because the rain is not moving, so you're technically in a 1v2, the best play you can make is an aggressive play. Because they're not expecting that, right? They're like, oh, we have numbers. They're not gonna aggro peek us, right? As you get better, they'll understand that you need to make an aggressive play. But sometimes even just human nature, just like we're fine, right? In my opinion, what you're doing here, your camera could be doing this whole time. You don't need to be jiggling this. Um, I think it's been pretty common that they've pushed A and not B. So I would just play in a way to just play for retake, right? Like I would just be ready to rotate really quickly, off of my camera being here, giving me information, or you could just rotate and just you can occasionally check it to see if it's a fake, if anybody's lurking, things like that, right? But I really think, yeah, we're sitting here and we've already lost somebody, and now we're slow walking. Like we need to be doing something faster, yeah. Yeah, we lost two. So like yeah, like I don't want to say yeah, it's your fault. You're losing, right? But like you're not playing in a way to rotate as fast as possible. So by the time you get there, you're already down two teammates. So we're gonna get into your attack, right? We've seen enough on defense. Um, so things you can do. You can just hard push with your team. Galerica is pissed around, so pushing really aggressively with your team. Usually really nice because usually people should be spread out. So by having more people on site, you have a higher percent of getting the bomb down. But a play that I could see you doing, and we'll go into Valo plan to kind of talk about this, right? To clear everything. So if I were you, right, you could low-key walk down mid, right? If you have a tripwire and a cage, or even if you can't afford both, but let's say you just only get like a cage, right? You could camera here, and this camera is gonna have visuals, all like oh, it's gonna have all this, right? So with that, you get information on mid. Is somebody holding mid? Yes or no, right? And if they're not, that could be just an easy that could be an easy split for you, right? So if I'm you, I put camera there. If I see nothing, even if I see nothing, I know I can push up this pretty easily. But if I see something, either I can think about taking a fight or I can think about repositioning with the smoke, right? But regardless, you could put camera there, and then what's it called? Pull a map. Yeah. So you can put camera down, and then let's say, okay, there's somebody mid, throw a smoke, right? And with that smoke, that'll block off his vision. You can either get into here, you can cross underneath, right? Or you could do nothing. And now this person that's here, right, thinks that you cross like they have to think, did they cross? Did they go underneath, right? And then if they have somebody here, like, oh, they didn't go underneath, but now they think you're here, right? So like you cause like you cause issues, right? Like you're disruptive. You're making them think, right? So this is a play you could do. And even if you end up not walking through, you've impacted the game because you're making them think about you. Peeking like that with the camera's crazy. The same thing you're gonna do with that camera, you could throw it on the wall behind you, and I'm pretty sure you can most likely do. Or you could jump up on this little wall, and you can get a good camera there too. But like peeking like this, trying to get a camera down is gonna get you killed. So you saw. Okay, so not only did you see him, right? But if we look closely, we'll go back a little bit. I want you to pay attention to the character's animation, right? So boom, boom, right? Okay, so he's tagged, right? So I'm looking. That's Gecko. I can tell by how he's shaped, right? So by his silhouette, I know that's Gecko, right? Gets ping. He gets pinged again, right? Look at this animation. What animation, and it may be hard to notice in game, but I noticed it. What animation or what ability does he put his hand in the air and make a peace sign? His flash, right? So he's gonna flash. I mean, he's probably gonna flash and swing or flash and escape, right? But you know that flash is coming. So I would be ready to shoot the flash or ready to dodge it. What you do?
That was my fault. I'm playing too slow. Flanking, flanking.
Oof, that you just walk by somebody. Scary. Yeah, and then that trip you place, they jumped over it, so gotta put a better trip.
Oh.
Yeah, that trip's gotta be better.
Thank you.
So low key, if that trip is better, maybe you get that isolated fight, and then you can get that in the next one because you slowed the sage down. I'm not sure. This guy's going mid with bomb. This will lose you the game if you don't help this person or ask for the bomb. Gotta be aware. Why are we doing this trip again if it didn't work? We placed this trip and she jumped over it. Why are we placing it again? Okay, so we're pushing up to this angle. If someone swings you right now, we can use this omen as a reference, right? This is head level, right? So your crosshair needs to be higher, right? But you're aiming super wide, and if somebody swings out, they'll probably swing out to like about here. You don't win that fight, right? And we'll leave this line here, I guess, because it'll probably stick at head level. But let's just like the threat is a little closer in, I'd say, right? It'd probably be over there, right? So when you peek this, somebody walked up, so somebody else could be pretty far up. So I'd clear this. I'd clear this, right? And then I'd clear my right? Like I'd be a little bit more methodical in the way I'm slicing out, getting as much information as I can. Because boom, what if somebody like people could be here, right? You got to clear it properly. So as much as it sucks, right, that your team could be throwing or playing the wrong way, sometimes you just have to play with them. Obviously, you don't want to build bad habits, but if you can't help what they're doing, like you have to just figure out a way to make it work. Because they're convinced that what they're doing is it works. Swing. Your crosshairs on him. Take shot. Don't kill. Unpeak. Unpeak. Because right now you're spraying, right? Spraying has its place. I don't want to tell you never to spray, but spray unpeak. There's no reason to hard fight that guy there.
80 on Gecko. Gecko back sight. Fudge.
So instead of taking that long range fight when you have low health, right? Why aren't we throwing your smoke and using that to get up, right? Like you have somebody who's on rafters that should be able to see the gecko, but you don't have to take that long range fight. You can use your smoke to scale. You have smokes, no? Am I tripping? Yeah, you have a smoke. Use your smoke to scale. Boom. Gecko back sight.
Back sight.
Omen, can you blind him? Or like throw a smoke so you can get over here, Like you don't have to take this fight. You're taking dry fights.
Fudge.
And
80
your
on Gecko.
crosshair placement's not in the correct place. Alrighty, so these are the notes that I have for you today, right? I want you to be faster out of spawn. I want you to buy while you're on the move, and I want you to set up your setup quick, right? I don't want you to be while the round's starting, still thinking about where you want to put stuff, because at that point they could be walking up on you, and it's no bueno, right? I also want you to use your camera more for info, right? That allows you to rotate early or reposition, right? By throwing out cameras in certain positions, you're allowed to see, hey, are they pushing me? No. This is a pistol round. They should be going fast. No. So if I don't see them in the first 3 seconds, they're probably going the other side, right? So you can start rotating. Or let's say you do see them, right? And then based off of who you see, what guns they have, right? You can take a better engagement based off of the information that you get, right? Because, oh, whatever, cool, camera breaks. It comes back in 30 seconds, you know? You'll get another one. And the camera's good, but like, it's not like you can abuse it super crazily, right? It's just to give you info, right? And then use your minimap more. There's a lot of times where you're slow walking where you should be full out sprinting, right? Because you're worried about angles, which is understandable, but you have teammates covering them or they've already been cleared. And then the last one that I didn't write up there, I would say, is just don't be afraid to uncommit to a fight. There's a lot of times where you swing and you just crouch and you're spraying, or you take a fight and you're both missing a couple shots and nobody unpeaks. So it just comes down to like, oh, whoever hits their shot first, right? Swing, take the fight. If you don't immediately get the kill, uncommit. Especially if you're close to cover, uncommit, right? You have a better understanding of where their head level's at, right? So you could swing it properly, right? But with that being said, that's going to wrap up this VOD review. If you guys enjoyed it, leave a like and a comment down below. And if you would like to get coached yourself, leave a comment down below. Maybe get into my Discord so we can get into contact and get that ball rolling. But hopefully you guys guys and gals, have a great rest of your morning, day, or night, wherever you may be. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.